In today's video, we're talking about headaches. We're coming at this from the perspective of Pete Egoscue's book, Pain Free, the revised and updated second edition, and we're talking about the menu on page 228. Now, of course, we gotta be honest, not all headaches are gonna come from postural imbalances, but you'll be surprised how many do. This is not a substitute for being seen by a medical professional and having all those fancy tests run in case there is something more nefarious lying underneath. But if you've had all those tests and you're still not able to get an answer from doctors, well, why not try 6 simple exercises that might help you get rid of those headaches? What exercises are we talking about today? Let's get into that. The first is standing wall with block. Second, the slant board ankle sequence. Third is static extension. Fourth is static back. Fifth is pullovers. And finally, the last exercise is cats and dogs. I'll be providing a brief explanation of what these exercises are doing and how they can help reduce headache, muscular tension leading to headaches. But if you want to find full instructions for any of these videos, you can look in the cards above or in the description down below, and I'll have links to all of them. So what do these exercises do that can actually make them help headache problems? Well, if you studied my video on cervical neck pain, pain for the neck, that exercise was all, or that menu was all focused on reducing that forward head posture, right? Now, this menu is going to have some of that, reducing the forward head posture too, because if these muscles along the back of your neck are really tight and out of balance with the muscles in front, the way it pulls on this, all the fascia in your skull, can actually start causing some of those headaches and things like that. But this menu has another aspect to it that is brought about by the second exercise that we'll talk about. And we're really talking about dynamic tension here. Dynamic tension is your body's ability to resist sway, essentially going back and forth. It's the ability to stay upright, right? If we didn't have the ability to balance muscles between the front of the body and the back of the body, we're going to end up either really unstable, and you see people walking and swaying a lot. They're going to be people who have problems with dynamic tension. But it can be less tricky than that too. If you see people hunched over, that again is a problem with dynamic tension. We're trying to get the body to not have this problem of being balanced between too far back or too far forward. And that's another thing. You see people with sway back posture where the hips are bailed forward. That's another dynamic tension problem. So this menu is an attempt to try to decrease many of those dynamic tension problems. The first exercise is standing wall with block. Now, this is going right into that dynamic tension issue we talked about, and we're looking at getting all the load-bearing joints using the wall. We're getting all those joints into one vertical plane. At the same time, we're strengthening the adductors and promoting proper foot position. Second exercise is the slant board ankle sequence. Now, you do need a special piece of equipment to perform this exercise. The slant board you see in the video, and they're not that expensive. And I've seen people try to mimic them by using like a large book propped up by some yoga blocks or all types of weird things. I really don't think that is as good of a way to do this, because the slant board has grips on there that make sure your feet stay in place, and it's adjustable in height so that you can figure out where, or an angle rather, so that you can figure out where feels best for you to do this exercise. The ankle sequence itself, well, what are we accomplishing here? This is going to help us strengthen the muscles in the pelvis and the hips by way of raising the ankles and the heels and the toes in various ways. Now, we are doing it in 4 positions, you notice, with the block between the legs and with a strap, but also we have the slant board going one way, then the other. And this is really trying to get the abductors and the adductors in balance and working together with the hips and the pelvis, getting them out of the gait process and trying to let the big movers, the quads, the hip flexors, the glutes, getting those to do the gait process and be the major components there, and instead of being relegated by compensations in the abductors and adductors. Next, we have static extension. Static extension is a great way to get the spine into a more neutral balance, restore the proper S-curve of the spine, and we can reduce things like scoliosis, things like that. And it is great for also kind of reinforcing those changes that we just got in the hips and the pelvis with the slant board ankle sequence. Next exercise is static back. This is a passive stretch where you are reinforcing these 90-degree angles of the body, letting the hips relax, and getting the upper body, meaning the hips, the pelvis, the shoulders, the head, all into one vertical or horizontal plane, and preparing you to be upright for keeping them in a vertical plane once you get there. Pullovers are a great exercise to do in the static back position. And what are we really accomplishing here? If the functional movement we're trying to correct here is people who are hunched over with the head forward and they can't lift the shoulders above or the arms above the head without getting the back involved. You see how my upper back is doing a lot of this work, engaging those muscles all the way through the low back as well to get those arms up. Well, we want to be able to stand up straight and get the arms overhead without having the back do anything more than provide stabilization rather than being a prime mover. And that's really what we're accomplishing with the pullovers and static back. Finally, we have cats and dogs, and in postural therapy, we use cats and dogs to propagate changes from the lower body up through the spine to the shoulders and head. So all these changes that we've done, we're trying to propagate those just like a wave, a sinusoidal wave that gets all those new postural changes from down here up to here. And because we are trying to work on the head, right, with headaches. And this is just kind of the final piece of that puzzle of getting that dynamic tension back into order. So I really hope that you found this video informative and useful, and that if you are suffering from headaches, you give this a shot. Now, this isn't a quick fix. This might take going several weeks, several months, but if you're persistent and do this every day, and your headaches are the result of postural imbalances, this just might be a ticket to help reducing those super frustrating headache pains.